Well, the new advisory just out from the Hurricane Center about 2 minutes ago. This wind's now down to 90 miles an hour. At landfall at 3:05, they were 150, so we've dropped 60 miles per hour in the wind speed with this hurricane, which still is holding together and bringing some potentially damaging winds across central Florida overnight before weakening into a tropical storm, then moving offshore on Thursday evening, just off Daytona, and then working up toward the Carolinas with a landfall possible around Charleston on Friday before it starts to turn into more of a fall-like storm. Remnant low and a big rainmaker working into the northeast late weekend, early next week. Here's a look at the radar loop at landfall 3:05 and very close to Sanibel and of course Captiva, and an incredible storm surge that we watched all afternoon as it worked its way inland. Still some very strong damaging winds, but things are beginning to weaken. There's still a little core here. This is what's left of that eye wall trying to hold together, but it's lost its energy, the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico, so it'll continue to weaken overnight, and we're expecting a tropical storm by sunrise or shortly after. Now, the Doppler radar is picking up winds aloft in the atmosphere, and they're still very strong around Okeechobee County, upwards of 70 to almost 80 miles an hour, and some of these winds are making it to the surface. So wind reports in this area, and in the last hour or two, we got up to 74 miles an hour in Okeechobee in the last hour for a wind gust. Right now we're 49 in Sebring, and a mix of 40s and 50s along the coastline of the Treasure Coast, and a little bit less in Palm Beach County. The winds may peak a little bit more in Okeechobee through the next hour, maybe 2 hours, and then they'll begin to drop. There's 2 in the morning. As we get into 7 in the morning, 56 numbers, the wind gusts along the coastline dropping too, but it's a slow transition to less wind and less water as far as rainfall. It's really going to take late Thursday before we get rid of the real gusty winds around. In Palm Beach County, the improvement will be a little bit faster, but windy is the weather we're into tomorrow too, because it'll be gusty south and southwest winds for most of Thursday into Thursday evening. You still see 30 and 35 mile an hour wind gusts. Tornado watch is still in effect too, and we have the hurricane warning and the tropical storm warning that continues. We're going to see these may get adjusted in the next few minutes, and we'll let you know if they do. Some of these are adjusted by the local weather offices. All right, I want to bring in Kate Wenzel, who has been tracking this with me all day long, with more on the local effects here.
Yeah, Steve, we have seen some very gusty winds, as you were just showing. The storm is moving to the north and northeast. You can see the heaviest rain right now pushing towards the Sebring area, Highlands, and getting worse for the Orlando area. Now, I want to show you this. This is impressive. Now, these are unofficial totals, but check out this swath of rain right here. Again, unofficial, but we have a report of almost 20 inches of rain there right by Rotunda, right around just the north of Punta Gorda to the south of Venice, and you can see those rainfall totals extend into Polk County, frost-proof, a foot of rain. And how about on the East Coast? We've seen some pretty impressive rainfall totals too. More than 7 inches near Fort Pierce, 7 inches near Vero Beach, 7.3 inches just north of the Palm Beach County line in Martin County. And this is good news to get this rain, because we were in a drought situation, so we'll see where we end up when all of this is said and done. Still a flood watch tonight for Okeechobee County and portions of the Treasure Coast, so there is definitely still a risk for some localized flooding. And here's some other rainfall totals from the West Coast. Warm Mineral Springs, which is right by Northport, over 11 inches of rain. Lehigh Acres, more than 14 inches of rain, and we'll continue to bring you these rainfall totals.